I was actually really excited to open up my package. So first off, we're going to go through each of the PS2 games that I have ordered, and we'll hopefully go through these games together. Do let me know if you've played any of these games, as some of them are, you know, well over 10, 15, and some of them even 20 years old. During the PS2 reign, the PS2 games were very much centered around movies, Disney, Pixar, pretty much you name it. If it was a TV show even, they've got The Simpsons, they had it. I don't know why they stopped doing that, because some of the best games happen to be based on movies, especially some of the Disney and Pixar ones. They were fantastic. Let's jump into it. I'm just going to go in a random order, but we've got Spiderwick The Chronicles. So if you haven't seen this movie, go see it before we get started on this game. This is the back cover here. This game here I have not played in a very long time. If I do remember this game, it actually was quite a fun game. I'm not gonna lie. Is this 2-player? 1 or 2 players actually. Yes it is. It's 2-player. So that was the main thing that I loved. Co-op games were like pinnacle during the PS2 reign. This was the time of pretty much sitting on the couch playing with your friends. So that is Spiderwick. Do let me know if you've played this game or not and what you think of it. Let's put that in the pile of 2-player games. And then we'll see at the end of this video how many 2-player games we have. The next one we have is Meet the Robinsons. I haven't actually played this game, so I can't say much, if anything, about it. All I know is people love this game. It is centralized on Wilbur, which is the son, unlike the actual movie, which I believe is centralized on the dad. So that's Meet the Robinsons. A lot of these games are going to be centralized around Pixar, Disney, and pretty much a lot of these movies you may have seen. This one is single player, so we will have fun with that without our sisters, but we'll put that there anyway. Up next we have Up. So Up, this again, I have not played this one either, but it looks fun, it looks cool when I checked it out. Another Disney little classic here. So that's Up there. It says it's 1 to 4 players. So on the back of this, we've got, yeah, it does say 1 to 4 players. Pretty much an adventure as we go up. So unfortunately, I only have 2 controllers for the PS2. So it's just going to have to be a 1 to 2 player game. But we'll chuck this in our 2-player pile there. Primal. This just came with the bundle, to be honest. I have never seen this before, but like most PS2 games, they're actually pretty good. Majority of the games that they made, I don't think there's really a super bad one. I feel like I'm speaking too soon, but that's kind of how I feel. Like, a lot of the PS2 games were fantastic. That's Primal right there. So let me know if you've played Primal. All I know is we're in a realm of demons and we're gonna go do an epic conflict between the primal forces. So this is a little bit more of a darker vibe to it. It does say mature audience, as they do. But that is single player pile there. Up next, unfortunately, I don't have the first 2 for this one, but I have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I believe I've played maybe the first or second one of this. It's very hard to remember, but this one here is 2-player as well. So that's going to go in our special 2-player pile, just so we can get a vibe for what games we're going to be playing together and what games we're just going to play by ourselves. Just you and me. Just you and me. Forget the family. Next one in the pile, we have Just Cause. I believe this is the original Just Cause, yes. So I've played the second, the third, and maybe just up to the third. I never quite finished it. I did play around with it for a bit. It wasn't quite up my alley. It's one of those of distraction, pretty much going on missions and smashing your way through anything and everything. So I think they got a little bit more chaotic as the series went on, but this is Just Cause. This one here is obviously single player, but we will see how that goes. Rico. Gonna wreak some havoc. Next up is a little bit of a change. I don't play a lot of sports games just because sometimes they do get a little bit repetitive and sometimes they can be a bit boring unless you've got a team to play with. But I've got ATV Off-Road Fury 3. I haven't played this, it just happened to be in the bundle, so some of these games, they may not be the most popular games out there. They might be a little bit random, but the special ones, I will be definitely pointing these out. So let me know if you've played any of these games. This one seems to be the very typical blaze your own trail, climb up and hang on as you dominate, decimate more than 30 unique 3 roaming game environments. So that's the vibe that I'm getting from this. Very dynamic, cinematic. This is 1 to 2 players, so that's going to be a game we can bring out when we get the family together. Very good game to have. Just a little bit of road fun. It's nothing like beating your family at driving, because we all know we're a little bit weird when we drive. I don't know about you. So for this next one, I haven't opened this package, but this is the one where I specifically picked out these games and bought because I wanted to play them, and I absolutely loved some of these games when I was smaller. So those ones there just came as a bundle. There was a few games in there that I really wanted, like the Spiderwick, the Up, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and Meet the Robertsons, because I heard that was a very good game. So I'm just going to grab my knife before we open up this box right here and hopefully get into some more games. So I don't normally have a big knife in my room, but for this I just happened to have it today. So we're just gonna slice our way through this box and get into the goodies here. Ooh, they package this good. Alright, I'm gonna tip this upside down to get this out. Oh, my precious games. Ooh, that was packaged well. Let's just throw that over there. Alright, so I've got them sorted into a nice little pile. One big pile. And we're gonna hit... So this one, I remember playing it. I don't remember a lot about it, but I saw the cover and I was like, I've played that. That's all I can say. But this game is The Mark of Cree. It's very hard for me to explain this game because I don't remember a lot, but I recognize the cover. I recognize sort of little bits and pieces about this. So I think this is going to be an absolute blast to play again. So that's the Mark of Cree. That's the back there. It is a single player game, so you are going on an adventure. Long ago, the most feared of the mystical dark spells, the Mark of Cree, was broken into 6 pieces and scattered across the world to prevent it from falling into the hands of evil. That's the first sentence of the Mark of Cree, so I'm hoping that's going to be good play. This next one is probably one that's going to bring back some memories for some people, but it is Narnia, Prince Caspian. So I do have the first Narnia game, I think, on my list to get. So I will be getting that one as well before we hit this one. But here it is. I think this is the only Narnia game that they've actually made. And this is 2-player as well. So this is where our 2-player pile's just going to get, ignore that sticker, the software return crap. But that is our battle-driven game, saving the Narnians. That's going on our 2-player pile. As you can see, we're a little bit even at the moment with our 2-player versus single-player. But the fact that we have a pile of 2-player games is more than I can say for the games that we have now, where most of your 2-player experience, your multiplayer is going to be online. So this is fantastic that I can just have 2 controllers and we can sit down with family or whoever, Murapura, Vanilla Slice, Lady Delinquent, whoever I have, we can smash through those games. I have the Golden Compass. I know some of you are going to be like, oh, that movie sucks. No, I didn't like it. They didn't do it right. We're not here to discuss the movie. We're here to discuss the game. I don't think I've played this one. I bought it because I was like, I'm keen. I don't really care so much about... I just know that these games are going to be a blast to play. So that's the Golden Compass. An absolute... We do have the little Sega emblem there. I'm not too sure who made it. We're going to have a various amount of companies that got involved with this. As you can see, it says PS2 Disney / Pixar on the up video game. So that's when they were going through and going, yo, we want to make video games on these animated movies. And that's what they did. So this one is single player. So that's going to go on that pile there. We're heading even. This one, I don't know how you guys are going to feel about this, but we got Fantastic 4. It's going to be a Fantastic 2 because it's only a 2-player game, which is kind of sad. I mean, it's Fantastic 4. Surely they could have made it 4-player, but Fantastic 2. This is going to be, I guess, I don't know if you would consider this one of the earlier superhero kind of games that they made on the PS2. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, if they've done Marvel games on the PS2 or even on the PS1. This is Fantastic 4. Alright, so that's our 2-player game again, making our pile a little bit bigger as we go. So next up we've got, I actually enjoyed this movie. I don't know about you, but we have WALL-E. This is going to be fun. I don't know it. I haven't played this one either. This is another ambiguous game to me, but it is 1 to 4 players, which is surprising. We don't get a lot of 1 to 4 players, so that's going to be interesting to play WALL-E. Next up, someone was actually, I think it was Ryan, who was really surprised. I'm just going to take these stickers off. He was really surprised that they had this game. And he was kind of excited when I started telling him the games that they had. And he was like, what? They need to remaster that shit. And you're right, Ryan. They should have remastered some of this. Because some of these games are absolutely fantastic. And I feel like they would compete quite well in today's market. Just simply because it's bringing back something, a movie, whatever it may be, back into the limelight, and some of these movies are still going strong today. We have Happy Feet. So, I haven't played this one either, but considering it's a very, I assume it's going to be a basic game. I mean, considering what Happy Feet's about, music, dancing, whatever, I can see right now that they've got tap dancing. We get to race down the glaciers on our belly. We get to evade the jaws of hungry leopard seals and orcas. So that's going to be fun. and it's 1 to 2 player. So that is happy feet. Right, next up is another game that's going to be in the ocean, and that is our #1 favourite fish movie. It's got to be Finding Nemo. It's got to be Finding Nemo. I don't know what other fish game, unless you're talking about Jaws or, you know, one of those Sharknado movies. But this one, it's got to be a good one. I haven't played this one, but love the movie, so this is going to be fantastic. I love me Disney and me Pixar, so you can't go wrong with providing more Disney and Pixar games. Just give us some more and I'll play them. So that is Finding Nemo. And that is a single player game, but that is fine. We're on a journey by ourselves anyway. Next up is going sort of in the opposite direction of Finding Nemo, to be honest. But we've got Enter Matrix. This is I think this is the first Matrix game. I believe there's maybe two of these games. Let's actually check that out. Yeah, so this game was made in 2003, and this is the first game. The second game of this series, or of the Matrix universe, is The Matrix Path of Neo. So let me know if you've played the Matrix game. An interesting one to play. And obviously that's only single player because there can only be one. We have metal arms glitch in the system. This is a old memory for me. This was made in the early 2000s. May have been, a lot of the games were made 2001, 2002, 2003. So this was that era. A fantastic little shooter game. You play as a robot. Lost your way to victory as Glitch, the gun-slinging half-ton menacing bot of Droid City. Found as scrap metal but transformed into destructive machinery, Glitch is determined to free his people from the evil clutches of General Corrosive and his maniacal army. This is fantastic. So you get weapons, you can fight your way through. It is 2 player, so that's fantastic. I believe you can play in like a versus mode. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me on that, but this is a fantastic little game to play. Obviously going in our co-op couch 2-player pile, and then we're hitting some of the bigger ones that have been in my memory for a very long time. Very nostalgic. This one is on the lower end of what's nostalgic to me, but I do remember playing it, and that is The Hobbit. To be fair, I don't want to point fingers at that Gollum game, but this looks very similar graphics to that. And this was made a very long time ago. Adventure game. Single player, obviously you do play as Bilbo, so this is based on his story. Long ago, the lonely mountains trembled as Dragon Smaug destroyed the dwarf kingdom in fire and rage. When the dwarfs set out to reclaim their stolen treasure hoard, I, Gandalf the wizard, sent them with the most unlikely heroes, Bilbo Baggins of the Shire. But even I could not foresee how this choice would rule the fate of Middle-earth. So you battle hordes of enemies, make your way around, try not to die, swing that little sword of yours, and solve little puzzles along the way. This one is got to be near the top of my list of games that made an impact and the ones I loved. And that is Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers. I don't know why they haven't remastered this game. I do have the 3rd game of this on the way, Return of the King, so they made 2 games. They do have another game called, I think it's The Fellowship, but it has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers and the Return of the King game. You're essentially playing as Legolas, Aragorn or Gimli, and you basically battle your way through on your epic adventure, upgrading your character, new moves, new weapons, and unlock a secret character and level. I don't recall what that is, but you battle through locations from the first 2 films, including the battle at Helm's Deep. So you're pretty much fighting orcs, goblins, and making your way through. It may not look like much, but it is an absolute ball of fun. So Lord of the Rings is in the top tier. So this one is only single player. I do believe maybe, I'm not too sure if the second one, the game after this, is 2-player, but absolute ball of fun. Okay, now we're going to move over to a series that takes a place in my heart. Besides Kingdom Hearts, this one is the retro game. I don't know why. Specifically one particular game, because this one, the first one, I have not played, but we're looking at Harry Potter. So Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or Sorcerer's Stone, however you want to call it. This game is fantastic. We do get our manual and our disc looking good. Absolute good condition. Looks beautiful, looks mint. I am very happy with this. Even the disc looks fantastic. I remember in the day, people just abuse the disc. They'll leave them lying about and you're like, can you not do that? Can you not like stack your CDs like Jenga or something? Because that's just going to scratch the shit out of it. And it usually did. And then they're like, when it starts buffering or just pauses or stops at a certain point in the game, you're like, yeah, that's why. So this is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. We're going to have an absolute ball of fun with this. I have played Hogwarts Legacy, but this is the OG of Harry Potter, and these are fantastic games. They do have that vibe of exploring. You've got spells, everything, and that's gonna be part of our journey. And if you haven't seen the little clips that I sent earlier, we have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. So this is actually the Harry Potter game that I played, and it was the main one that I remember. I'm sorry I don't have that card, and just all the fun little dialogues that they have. I did play a little bit of this with Murder a couple of weeks ago to get started. You get to go around, you've got your spells, you upgrade, you do get to play Quidditch. So that was the thing that they had in these Harry Potter games. Is the one thing that was missing from Hogwarts Legacy was they're like, where's the Quidditch game? You do get to play a little bit of Quidditch in this. You've got your adventure, you've got your friends, just pick up your wand and go. So let me know if you've played any of the Harry Potter games and which ones you have played, which ones you haven't, which ones you loved and what you didn't like. Because up next is obviously, it's got to be pretty obvious at this point. We've got Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. So this one here is, you've got to be 3+ to play this. This one was a good game. I don't remember it as well as I do the second one. Second one was fantastic. This is still a good follow-up. I would recommend playing the Harry Potter games. They got a little bit of everything. This one obviously does have a little bit of a darker turn to it as well, that being the Prisoner of Azkaban. So I did get the 4th game. Unfortunately, I was a bit of a cheap ass and I decided to go for just the disc version of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Why? It was $7. So that's why. So I just keep it in one of the other cases. So that's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. The 3rd and 4th games were good follow-up games, but I think as it got towards the end of the Harry Potter series, we did see a little bit of a dip in the quality to a certain extent. There is some outliers, like this one here. I I don't know why some people might disagree, but I actually enjoyed this one here, Harry Potter and the Order of Phoenix. This one you can explore a little bit more. You can make your way around the castle. There's little things to collect, little things to do. The wand waving that you can do in this game it's alright. You kind of get used to it. I think I've played this one a couple of times now. But you'll notice that a lot of these games actually have the movie cover on them. And that's because they were like, oh sweet, we're going to take the rights and we're going to make a video game. I would like to see them do that nowadays, but they haven't for a while. I am trying to get my hands on the next two. It's just a little bit more difficult, partially because at the time that they were released, and I believe it might be easier to get those games on the PS3. So there we go. It was released a little bit later, 2009. These games are getting increasingly difficult to get. So I am actually very happy with the amount of Harry Potter games that I managed to get my hands on. The first game was not a small expense. It was pretty much like buying a mint copy, and I'm very happy with the quality, and I'm gonna be playing that. I hope to see you guys there when we start the series of Harry Potter. But let me know which Harry Potter game is your favorite out of the series. Mine is the Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, followed up by Order of the Phoenix. And the last game that I have here is an absolute gem. This brings back a lot of memories. This is one of the games where if I could get them to remaster it and redo it, I would definitely try and get them to do that, because this is a game that actually deserves a remaster. I would say it ticks all the boxes. And that game is Dog's Life. So this is a very hard to get game. So I'm glad I managed to get a very good copy. I wouldn't say it's the most mintest copy I've seen. The Harry Potter one looks way much better, but the quality and the fact that the back of the CD is not scratched at all means I'm going to be treasuring this game forever. Why is this game such a great game? I don't like to liken it to, how would you say, the Goat Simulator. This is beyond Goat Simulator. So Dog's Life, it's one of the few dog games that you've got out there where you play as a dog. You're pretty much on a journey to foil or to stop these dog nappers from doing evil. There's a lot of different little things in this game. You're collecting bones, you're sniffing trails, you can shit in someone's yard, you're doing tasks for some of the people. It's an absolute gem of an adventure. You can dig, you can fetch, you can swim, you can beg, hunt, mark territory, even foul the streets as they call it. And you go around, you meet different dogs, you try and get to the bottom of this mystery as Jake, which is this dog here. It's one of the few animal games that ticks all the boxes for me. It's got adventure, it's got great little mini games, it's got character, it's got personality, and it just captures your attention. So we're gonna hopefully play this. This is obviously a single player game. I have played Stray. That was a good game for obviously different league and a different vibe. This is a little bit more old school platformer game, a little bit of an open world. You know, you go into different areas, you do what you need to do, you unlock things, and then you move to the next area, unlocking the mystery as you go. Have you played Dog's Life? If you have, what do you think of it? Do you think this deserves a remaster? And if you haven't played it, have you heard of it? And would you like to play it? Because that's too bad. It really is. They're very hard to get, so good luck with that. But I will be playing it. I will be playing it for sure. And that is the end of our PS2 unboxing. We do have a fair amount to go through. I mean, look at that bit by bit. It's not going to all happen at once. As you can see, these are all the 2-player sort of couch co-op games that we can play. These are our single player games. So they're going to give us a different vibe. We're going to bring back the nostalgic vibes to the gaming world. Unfortunately, I did have a couple of other games that I would have liked to show you, but they're not here yet. Did mention them before. I do have the first Narnia on the way, and I do have the Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King on the way. And I was correct, I did just check up whether the Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King is 2-player, and that was the one that they made co-op, which was a fantastic thing to do because playing alone was great in the Two Towers, but when you're playing with a friend, you're both battling the orcs, the urukai, and you're going through as these characters. It's just so good. I can't say anything more than it's fantastic. So I've got that one on the way, and the last honourable mention I do have to point out, I managed to get my hands on Scalar. For some of you, you may not think that's a memorable game. It's one of the few games that I was given as a kid, and I remember it well. It was released in 2004, and you play as a lizard, and that's all I'm gonna say is your Scalar, the blue lizard. So this is just the beginning of our retro gaming adventure. We've got a good stack to start with. I do have a few others, but obviously some of those games are not mine to share, but I will be playing them. And I hope to have Vanilla Slice and Murder Pooter playing some of these games with me as we go through them and beat them. This is the PS2 era, so this is well before trophies were introduced on the PS3. So there is more or less no such thing as platinuming the game. That's something you have to have a look within the game yourself and go, have I completed this 100%? That's something you do on your own terms. You don't get a trophy that says, well done. But until then, I hope to see you in the next one. Like, comment, and subscribe. We will be going through this stack at some point. And let me know in the comments below, what is your favourite PS2 game? What brings memories to you? What's nostalgic? What do you remember as being the absolute best game that you played as a kid?